mic up. This is legacy emotion. For vision of victory, trailblazing the path. Mind sharp, words heavy, every bar got class. Iconic by nature, pioneer by design. History in the making every time she aligns. Doctorate dreams, but the roots run deep. Built from the grind, now the whole world speaks. Culture, purpose, power when she steps in the room. Drop gems so real, make the future zoom. Yeah.
This is iconic pioneers. Hear the story unfold, where the fearless lead and the truth gets told. Every voice legendary, every lesson precise. Hosted with wisdom, Dr. Tabitha Russell on the mic. Press play. Stay ready. The movement starts now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Iconic Pioneers Podcast, the space where disruptors, trailblazers, and bold thinkers gather to rewrite the rules of success. I'm your host, Dr. Tabitha Russell, and on this show, we dive deep with those who aren't afraid to lead differently, those who are also building legacy, impact, and authority that echoes for generations. I just so happen to have a wonderful opportunity of being here with Miss CeeCee Strong on today. She is absolutely amazing and doing some amazing things in the world. So can I just say, welcome in, CeeCee. I could not wait for this interview.
Thank you, Dr. Tabitha, and so happy to be here and have me here in this space. Thank you.
Yes.
I so appreciate it.
I love it. So while we're on the topic, can you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell people who you are and some of the genius that you're sharing with the world right now?
I am CeeCee Strong. I am an author. I am a business owner. I am the founder of CeeCee Strong Corporation, which houses training programs like the 7 C's of Survival and Sustainability and Bravery Beyond the Badge. Named so because I spent 30 years of my life in law enforcement. I just recently retired. I made it to the rank of lieutenant, national television shows, training thousands of recruits on the grinder, as we call it, for the training. And I am wife, mother, sister, cousin, niece, all of those good things, and a servant leader, first and foremost, a child of God.
I love it. Can I just say, everybody, that I told you that she was super amazing, right? She's doing a lot of things to help to impact the area of law enforcement, as well as make a huge difference in the world. So, CeeCee, share with us what being an iconic leader mean to you personally? Like, I know that sometimes we have our own, mission and vision statements and that kind of stuff, but share with us what being an iconic leader means to you.
Usually when people say about leadership, and in this space, when you're saying an iconic leader, for me, that means showing up and holding myself accountable first, and then those that I lead. If you are not willing to, like the wagon, pull the wagon, push the wagon, sit in the wagon, or push it from behind, then you are not being an iconic leader. It is not just about me. It is about me and my team, and then those we serve. Iconic leadership for me is servant leadership, being able to serve others, because it's going to elevate you anyway when you build your base and your platform beneath you.
I love that. Being an iconic leader is definitely about serving, right? You leading by example and other people being able to draw strength from that which you do definitely is game changing. So tell us about, though, a defining moment when you realized that you weren't built to follow the crowd. Like, I know that you're a game changer, right? Like, you shift environments when you're present. So tell us about that defining moment for you.
I honestly think the defining moment for me was on the firing line when I was firing my weapon in the academy. I had been in the military already, but it was at some point where I said, oh shoot, this is real. I know that's crazy because it was toward the end of the academy, but I realized that I am taking on the ability to make split-second decisions, to have a life or death situation where I would have to possibly take a life. And it all came back kind of like that Matrix, almost like you're bending backwards and everything's flying over you. All these words are telling me, this is what you're going to do in this position. And I took that to heart. And I think that was the day that I said, I owned it, that I didn't look like the traditional officer. So I had to use the gift of gab. I'm not very tall or big for that matter. So I had to use my strength of mind over trying to be the hard, bravado, tough cop. And it served me very well. I was able to reach people and connect with them, avoiding some fights along the way.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, I will just say I applaud you for being in law enforcement. You said 30 years, right? That is super amazing. So, congratulations for hanging in there that long. I'm sure that you've seen probably most everything that you can see, right? Had a lot of experiences and different things like that. So, every leader, because you mentioned about retiring at a lieutenant level, but every leader faces some resistance. So, what's one obstacle that almost broke you, and how did you overcome it? Or how have you been able to put some things in place now to where that probably won't happen again, right?
I want to put my hands up on the table. You know how you temple your face? Like, how much time you got, Doctor? Get the tablet. The thing that almost broke me, in all honesty, was my husband running for sheriff and then me being targeted. And by targeted, I mean literally you have no idea what's going on. You're marched into an office and all of a sudden you're placed under an investigation for things that you didn't do. Long story short, I was in an internal affairs investigation. It wasn't just one, but then when that one started crumbling, a second one was placed on me. And what I learned was to dig deep into what I was already doing. I journal, I document. I have now developed the MAD resilience, as I call it, with mental resilience, active resilience, demonstrative resilience, and that documentation is huge. But it almost broke me because it was so out of character. It wasn't who I am. And yet it was stacked by executives within my department. And because of that level of stacking, it almost stuck, save for the ability to fight back.
Wow. Can I just say, not one set of allegations, but two sets of allegations, and then you're still trying to, poke the bear just a little bit by trying to stir in the water after the fact. So I will say it is awesome that a you have the opportunity of fighting back, right? I know that I operate on a premise of if we don't have it in writing, it probably didn't happen, right? I was in the corporate space for a long time. And with that, we were taught to document, document, document. And so I definitely do understand about that. But that has also served you well, knowing that you have proper documentation. So, how do you balance building wealth, influence, and impact without sacrificing your authenticity? Because, the higher we go up the ladder, the more businesses and the impact and influence that we have, how all of that sometimes can shift and change. But being true to you, man, that's like hitting the jackpot right there by itself. So tell us about, how do you bring balance to all of that?
I think I bring balance in the way that I put it into perspective. So it's like putting on my uniform. My uniform is different from my mommy uniform, from my husband, my wife, from the wife that I am to my husband, I should say, my wife uniform to my sister uniform. I think balancing it is putting yourself in the moment in whatever you're doing at that moment. For a long time, it was a scramble for me. It's like I want to do everything all at once, like everything. all at the same time, and you want to be a multitasker, and that's great. But are you really giving concentration to the areas that you need? So finding balance for me is first to pause, and then I pray, and then I proceed. Because if I did it in the reverse, I would proceed, then I'd be praying, and then it would probably be paused. So that's how I find my balance, to stay in the moment and to make sure that I am giving the attention where it needs to be.
I love it. Staying in the moment is um, one of those things that allows you to be able to take in all the goodness from it, right? And to really give attention to that area of focus at that time. What's a myth, though, about leadership or success that you believe needs to be dismantled immediately? Because I know leadership is something that cannot be taken lightly. And I think sometimes we've seen probably on both sides, where leadership sometimes needs a little refinement. And I know that one of your areas of focus is really helping the law enforcement authorities around the country to put some things in place. So, what's a leadership myth that needs to be dismantled?
That leadership comes with a title. There is a myth that because someone holds a certain office, they have a certain position, they, in our world, like a chief or a commander or the sheriff himself, if you are in that position and you don't separate your personal beliefs, we see it a lot with politics. We should not be involved in politics at all in uniform, because then it governs how you treat the people that you work with. I think the title overrides people's thinking. And then the power, what do they say? Absolute power corrupts absolutely, if I have that saying correctly. But it's because of those type of things that people don't focus on doing the right thing. And not everybody has a bad heart, but sometimes that power gets to be too much. And you have to stay grounded, excuse me, in the humanity piece, which is again, I go back to that servant leader. If you don't have it within you, you're not going to wear that title very well. It's just that, a title.
Oh, yes, I agree. Titles sometimes can cloud judgment for sure. But being authentic to the person that you are, having good morals and good character and integrity goes a long way. And I will just say that success leaves clues, right? I believe that you would not have been able to make it 30 years without being an exemplary employee at the various different stages and ranks for that matter. So, with success leaving clues, what daily habits or rituals keep you operating at an iconic level?
Okay, so I'm going to share this secret. Part of my 7 C's of survival and sustainability: gaining clarification. So that's one of the C's in a training program that I have. And what it is that we don't clarify anything. My boss said, my supervisor told me, my manager said that I needed to. And people don't stop to get absolute clarification on what it is that they're supposed to do. You would be surprised that your translation, what you think you heard and what you really did actually, or what came out of that person's mouth, I should say, are vastly different when you consider the outcome, if you just move forward and you're not sure. So gaining clarification saved me immensely, because I would usually email and say, hey, I just want to be sure that you want me to do F, then B, then C, instead of the other way around in the normal order. And it always worked out in my favor.
I love it. I love it. And having that clarity, though, gives you peace of mind that you're on track, that you're doing the right things when needed. I was in a
100%.
space where I would always have so many things thrown on me for tasks to do and things like that. And of course, if I didn't understand something, I'm asking a first, second, and sometimes a third time, because I want to make sure that I do the work right, but I also don't want to be double working unnecessarily, right? So, of
Yes.
course, having that clarity is definitely a game changer there also. Now, I know that because you do a lot of things on a regular basis, you hadn't, kind of talked about all the other things that you do. So let's just spend a moment here to just talk about legacy for a moment. And I know that legacy is more than wealth. What legacy are you intentionally creating for the generations to come? And so just spend a little bit of time to talk about that.
My legacy, honestly, is not giving up. Keep going. And right now, I am building businesses for my grandchildren. I firmly believe in generational wealth. My dad, although I came from very humble beginnings, made a bet with me. He's like, if you can save $50, I'll match it and we'll open a bank account. And so I did that. And I was young at the time, really early on. I think it was probably at about 15 or 16 years old when I had my first job. I was 15. And I was like, $50, $50, that's so much money. But I did it. And then he matched it. And so he told me I needed to make it better for my children. So whatever I am doing, I'm doing this for you. I may not have a whole lot to do it, but you better do even more. So what I did is I actually started businesses for all three of my children. And so a lot of what you're seeing right now with me in action is basically leaving a legacy behind. It is also leaving the very keys that I use to combat what I went through. Because what good am I if I'm like, hey, I came out of that unscathed and I don't leave anything for anyone else? So each of my children, the clock is on. I told them that they've got to do and give their kids better than what I gave. And I made a pretty tall order in that. But the overall legacy for those who are to follow or anyone who is following me in this journey is never, ever, ever, ever give in or up. Period.
I love it. That needs to be on a poster somewhere, right? Never, ever, ever give
Ever,
in
ever.
or give up, because I believe that that's where we drop the ball, have the potential to drop the ball, and let legacy die, right? So, but can you talk about like a couple of the business ventures that you have that's going on right now? Because I know that they are game changing and next level for that matter. Just outside of the consulting, I know that you do that as well. But just talk about the different businesses and the purpose of each one of them.
Absolutely. So I'm going to start with one of the ones that just thrills me, and it is my clothing line. It is the World University of Jesus Christ, which is a mouthful. So we just lovingly call it WUJC, WUJC. And it is a jersey honoring Christ. But it's not just about the design of the jersey, it is about the meaning. And literally from the top of the V neck all the way down to the hem, every detail on this jersey has meaning. A family crest on the sleeve, 3 drops of blood in honor of the Son, Father, and Holy Spirit. It is a lesson in merging a common goal where people love sports. They pump their fist in the air. They are proud of their player. They wear his name on their back, or his or her, depending. But usually in football jerseys, which is where we started, it is the name of your favorite player. My favorite player is Christ because through him I get to the Father. And I was one day at a game at the SoFi Stadium here in LA, and I was asked who my favorite player was. So I said my favorite player was in the stands, he was on the field, he was in the concession booth. And the ladies in the restroom were like, what? And I went home. I ended up drawing a jersey, and true to life, that jersey then went from a drawing to me hand sewing the prototype, and then finally having that put in print and onto the cloth and the jersey. And it is now actually branching out with random scriptures that speak to you. So you never know what scripture you're going to get when you order your WUJC jersey. So, and I'm going to plug that WUJC1.com to get your jersey. Where he shouldered the message for he shouldered the cross for our sins. Let's shoulder his message to the world.
Wow. That is so good. WUJC1.com. Let's go. I just so happen to have one of the jerseys, one of the very first editions. Thank you. And I wear it so proudly. And I just know that just the meaning behind it, just the very details that you have on that jersey is going to be game changing. Like I even feel different when I'm wearing it, right? Like it definitely does represent Christ. And I am so honored and thankful to be a part of being able to do that as well.
Yes.
Now, I want you to talk about for a moment one of the boldest risks that you've ever taken in your career and how did it reshape your trajectory? Like I know that over the course of time that there's been some challenges, there's been some, retaliations and different things like that that has happened. But at some point, I'm sure something kicked in there as well. It was like, okay, y'all might think y'all trying to get me, but wait a minute, right? So, talk about that bold risk and share, um, maybe something about how you were able to overcome it.
The thing that pops in my head were actually two things. One was the fact that molded bread was served to over 3,000 incarcerated people. And I didn't just speak out about it. I went on national television and there was a news clip about that. I also added to that what I was going through in the moment. I had absolutely no clue what was going to be stacked against me. But I think the bold move was speaking out anyway. I wasn't waiting to be reactionary. I was proactive in my own truth. And that gave me kind of a wings, if you will. The whole point of wrongdoing to anyone is usually there's a base for it. And if you are not tapping into, let me stop everything. And what is going on? Well, I don't have anything, but I do know that whatever it is that's coming is wrong. I actually had it click for me that I needed to speak out. I had seen things over years in law enforcement that I didn't like, and I was always speaking out internally for everyone else. I would have people tugging at my elbow, don't say that, it's not good, it's going to be bad for your career. I had a commander tell me that I needed to decide which hill I wanted to die on. And I said, Lieutenant Hill, because captain and above, it's just a selection anyway. And you're telling me I'm not going to be promoted. I think the thing that was the bold move for me was to not stay silent, and to actually put it out there, not just not staying silent. I went public with it immediately. It gave the history behind what happened. And so by the time it all came full circle and the lies were proven to be just that, lies, it's now a history and a historian piece, if you will. You can look back and see she was serious and she was telling the truth. So it was pretty bold because in law enforcement, you don't speak out that way. It's a brotherhood, it's a sisterhood. And nothing in that brother or sisterhood changed for me because the mission to me is still the same. But if the mission is wrong, it's wrong, in uniform or out. And I'm not actually backing down from that because I got to look at this face in the mirror and be true to this face. And I got to answer to the man upstairs. And I am not going to let him down.
Well, I will say that that is spoken from a true fighter, a true warrior for sure. And once again, those 30 years has prepared you for such a fight, right? Like I am so encouraged just by hearing how you chose to stand out, but more importantly, that the way that you did it, right? Going on national television to talk about it, that is absolutely huge. Now, for those that are listening who feel called to lead, but they question their power, what's your message to them?
Dig deep. Do it. If you are called to be in leadership, if you are called to be a janitor, If you are called to be a fisherman, if you are called to play checkers, if you are called to play chess, if you are called to just sit in silence, whatever it is your calling is, do it. And you will know that, yes, that's a calling for me. That's my niche. And my niche happens to be documenting, which people fear. They don't like it. But I would tell them, go for it. Don't back down when things don't seem to be going in the way you want them to. You're probably on the brink of something good, because every single time when I get punched and I take another punch and I take another punch, what never stops is my forward movement. And I often say, if I can't run, I'm going to walk. If I can't walk, I'm going to crawl. If I can't crawl, I'm going to drag my body. So to anyone who is listening, do it, is what I say. Nothing beats a fail but a try.
I love it. I love it. I know that you have a lot of moving parts over there in your space. I know that you're doing a lot of amazing things. You mentioned briefly about your husband and how, in times past, because of the things that he's doing, how you were, caught up in the midst of some of that. So share with us what's next for you. I know you have a lot of things going on. So what's coming up? What do you have on the horizon?
I have a couple things on the horizon, but I call it being campaign wife. This color dress for this event over here, or you got to be me over there because I can't be. So you got to fill in. My husband has decided to run again for sheriff of Los Angeles County. So I have to say, strong, the number 4 sheriff.com is how you can actually help support change is needed. What I went through is evidence of that there's a lot that goes on that people don't talk about. And I could have very well just said, I'm taking my ball and going home. But we are kind of polar opposites in that sense, because I can speak to, there is some wrongdoing, and he can speak to, there is a need for better for everybody, not any one type of people, gender, race, none of that. We all need to be working toward better in law enforcement. I mean, look at the headlines, Dr. We only see the negative stuff, but there are so many good officers out there who need to have a little more of that limelight and in the sun. So, campaign wife, I am currently working with organizations. I have one that I'm working intensively with to reorganize and reset their actual executive level of leadership, which is what I was able to do internally. And the department didn't want it. So I took my intellectual property with me and have been helping corporations with them trying to do better within their ranks and avoid what happened, like what happened to me. Investigations that don't make sense, people stacking lies, things that would actually make damage. I mean, it's damaging to the department for me to speak out. But there's so many people that need to know what happened and that they too can have that voice. So I am the voice, the puppet master, if you will, of documentation. And you have more documentation than you even know, even if you haven't been documented. People just don't know how to tap into it. So that is my what's next, along with enhancement to WUJC and also some online courses that can be taken to learn about those 7 C's that help me survive those choppy waters. So those are my next.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. Congratulations to your husband and making the massive decision to run again for sheriff of the LA County
Yes.
Police Force. And I just know that so many good things are going to come out of this. You have WUJC, you're helping corporations with doing consulting work and all of that. I want to wish you much success. First of all, and then I can't wait to see what else is on the horizon for you as well. So we'll definitely have to have you back so that we can talk about some of the things that you have that's coming up and how things are going. So thank you so much for being here. I do greatly appreciate it.
Thank you. And thank you for having me. I feel honored that I am in the space with the Dr. Tabitha Russell. How do you get to that space? I love it. I love it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in to Iconic Pioneers Podcast, where we don't just build brands, we build blueprints for generations. Remember, icons aren't born, they're built by those bold enough to lead unapologetically. Until next time, keep leading, keep building, and keep breaking every limitation possible. Thank you so much for joining, and we look forward to you being here with us again. Take care.
This is Iconic Pioneers. Hear the story unfold, where the fearless lead and the truth gets told. Every voice legendary, every lesson precise. Housed with wisdom, jot to tether the rustle on the mic. Press play. Stay ready. The movement starts now.